All right, top 5 Blood Angel starting units. Let's get into it. If you're looking to get into Blood Angels as a new or first Warhammer 40k army, this guide is for you. I've looked at top performing Blood Angels lists, different people's tier rankings, and pulled from my own experience because I play Blood Angels to give you 5 core units that it seems that most players are using, and this will give you a strong foundation to build from. So whether you're aiming to be competitive or just want to play some fast, brutal, and thematic games, these are the units that'll get you there. So Intercessors with jump packs, speed and violence. It's Blood Angels in a nutshell. While they can shoot, Blood Angels truly shine in close combat. Think of them as a get in, hit hard, get out type of army. That's why jump pack units are so common. You'll see armies full of them, sometimes 3 units of them. And then other units with jump packs as well, but these are the main guys. 12-inch movement makes it easy for them to get into the fight fast. They're armed with chain swords or power fists for heavy melee damage. And the Blood Angels most used detachment, which is just like a style or a way that you can play the Blood Angels, gives them +1 to attack and +2 to strength on the charge. So if you're not familiar or you're new to Warhammer, what that essentially means is that when they go from a distance and they get in close, like melee combat, after that movement, they get a huge buff to the chances of them being able to hit, and then the chances of them being able to do damage. So again, when they move in to close combat, they just get a huge buff to their chances of being able to hit, chances of being able to do damage. They also have an ability that deals mortal wounds on the charge, meaning that after charging or moving into close combat, you roll a die for each model in the enemy unit, and on a 4+, they take a wound before combat even begins. So these guys are super key. Death Company with jump packs, so more jump pack units. But this is a Blood Angel specific jump pack unit with some great lore behind them. Cursed with visions of their Primarch's death, which is pretty freaking sick. They're awesome. These guys are one of the reasons that I started playing Blood Angels because their lore is sick. But lore side, these guys are great on the tabletop. They get a reroll charges, making it more likely they'll be able to get into combat. They'll reroll hits, which give them a great reliability on the first swing. They're fast, deadly, and aggressive, which is exactly what you want for Blood Angels. So just a little note, if you're new to Warhammer, a big part of it is claiming objectives. And these guys on their own have 0 objective control. That means that if they're on an objective, they don't count for anything. But a Chaplain helps them with that, which is another unit that we'll talk about later. But these guys are very good for doing damage to smaller units. And if they have a Chaplain, then they can do even more, but then they can hold those objectives. Mephiston, or at least that's how I say it. People say it differently. Anyway, this guy is cooking right now. He is one of the coolest characters in the Blood Angels roster, and he brings a lot to the table. I highly suggest looking up his lore because it's sick. 7-inch base movement and can advance plus charge in the same turn. That's a lot. That's a lot of movement for one guy. That gives him the potential to move a total of 7 inches plus a d6 plus a 2d6, letting him rocket across the board. His sword Vitaris hits like a truck. I was playing against my brother the other day, and I was able to finish off a unit which had 3 people left in it with one swing of the sword, which is pretty sick. Has lone operative, meaning enemies can't shoot him unless they're within 12 inches. Also has Feel No Pain 4+, meaning when he takes damage, he can roll to ignore wounds on a 4+. So again, for those who aren't familiar with Warhammer, essentially what that means is a bunch of rolling happens when someone's attacking you and when you're attacking them. But when they're attacking you, after all the rolling is done, you'll count up the amount of like total wounds or total damage you're going to be taking, and then you'll roll the amount of dice for that total, and every time there's a 4 up, or 4, 5, or 6, essentially, then you get to ignore that damage. So it's just another opportunity to be tough. So he's fast, durable, and deadly. Hard to go wrong with him. The Sanguinary Guard. These are elite warriors of the Blood Angels, basically golden angelic death machines. They got a 12-inch movement, a 2-up armor save, and a 4-up invuln save, just making them incredibly tough. Those Inferno pistols give them a serious punch at close range, which you guys are going to be, you're going to want to get these guys close as possible. When enemies try to melee them, they subtract 1 from the hit rolls, which is a big deal for durability. and can be built great for objective control. As you can see at the bottom, one model can be equipped with a sanguinary banner. That just means that each of them have 2 OC. So with 3 models, you have 6 points on an objective, just giving you greater odds of claiming that objective. They look cool, they hit hard, and they're pretty difficult to kill. And they're a staple for most Blood Angels armies. And the Chaplain with the jump pack, which is what we were talking about earlier with the Death Company. You can attach him to them as a leader, and he gives them some pretty cool abilities. So he's a support unit. So Death Company have 0 objective control unless they're with the Chaplain. That's why the jump pack Chaplain is almost always included. And Games Workshop even made a Blood Angels specific version of this model. You can see it on the right there. It just looks so cool. So he gives your Death Company the OC they need to take objectives, has access to solid and melee ranged options, and can inflict damage before attacking thanks to his abilities, kind of like the jump pack Intercessors we were looking at earlier. So he's a solid support and not too shabby in a fight either. All right, so this is a combat patrol. This isn't a unit. This is just the last thing I wanted to talk about. If you're trying to build a Blood Angel army, this is a pretty good little box because it cuts down the price a little bit and it gives you a bunch of units. So it gives you about 500 points of units, and it's designed to be playable right outside the box. It includes 6 Sanguinary Guard, 10 Assault Intercessors, and a Blood Angels Captain. And so the Assault Intercessors, we didn't talk about those previously, but every army has units that are relatively cheap in points but can pack a punch. And while there are a bunch of different units that can do that, Assault Intercessors are great for Blood Angels because they are very melee focused, which fits their playstyle perfectly. And the Captain also brings good leadership and a strong punch at a good value. So I put links in the descriptions for all of these things. I also have a website where I do blog posts, and I'm going to be trying to go through every single faction, top 5 units, but all of these are going to be in the description. And that little Blood Angels kit that goes with the Death Company, what you do in order to make those is you buy a regular jump pack Intercessors, and then you have to buy the Blood Angels kit. And it'll give you like cool shoulder pads and whatnot. There is an older, they used to make Death Company jump pack like specific units that you could just buy in their own box, but they don't make those anymore, and sometimes they're hard to find. But if you can find one of those, they're incredibly cool. I have one of them. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Leave in the comments different factions that you guys are looking for or different questions that you have. Thank you so much. Bye.